What's up, IdentityV gamers? I'm Music Man, and I have some Dream Witch gameplay to review with y'all. Let's get into the video. Alright, so this first match is going to be on Lakeside Village. Lakeside is like one of my favorite maps to play Dream Witch on. Ever since I was watching GR and PPX was one of the hunters that I really watched a lot. This was like one of his favorite maps to do back when GR was like top of everything, top of the world. I like doing this build. It's a left down Blink build. I like it a lot. You can run Blink with the typical trump card build, or you can use Insolence here, which can give you some pretty good early game pressure, and I like it especially on like larger maps such as Lakeside because of the fact that you are able to go ahead and get some early game pressure with potential of another leech early, or there's a lot of different things you can do with Insolence that make it really useful on this map. But the larger radius that Max Presence gives is really good for Dream Witch kind of in the mid game, so that you can have a bit more flexibility with your map pressure. But I ended up getting a really nice early hit on the Novelist here. I kind of have a little bit of struggles with leeches kind of getting out of radius, but I'm just trying to continuously put pressure in on the Novelist. And sometimes you just have to resort to this auto march, which is what you see me do here. And so what they decided to do here, I don't know why. Novelist should have kept transitioning, but whenever you see survivors make mistakes, never correct your enemy when they're in the middle of making a mistake. So you can see that's what I do here, and Blink is like up. I'm gonna get as many leeches kind of in that area as I can. You can see I'm kind of taking the Novelist and trying to get it to auto leech. Now, being that I got a hit on a Doctor, I saw a path that I would be able to get this down really quickly, and I want to get this down on Doctor as quickly as possible. And if I had picked up the Doctor, there was a chance that he would try to do some sketchy stuff around the pallet, so I just decided to down him first. And now I have, at 3 ciphers remaining, which is still pretty early, I have 2 survivors going to the chair. Now, Doc is the one I want to keep track of most and make sure that Doc is actually the one that gets eliminated first, because of the fact that if I let her go for 1 second, she's going to heal. It's part of the reason why Doc is actually somewhat decent against like Dream Witch players that don't really know entirely what they're doing. But I end up, I want to farm Doc as much as I can. And right here, I'm just trying to get as many hits as possible. I thought I could go for a cheeky Bleak and catch him before he did his ability. But right when his ability canceled, I was able to get down on Puppet. So you can see where this match is already going really quickly. And survivors that aren't necessarily the most coordinated, you can dish out some real damage. When they're forced to split up between 2 rescues and you're camping both rescues, not exactly a whole lot the survivors can really do there. When they're trying to go for support, and I was able to get rid of support in the way that I did between the Doctor and the Novelist. And so they ended up getting that rescue on time, which was fine, but that was a rest in peace Blink moment. But it's too late to matter. I pretty much have things secure, so from here I'll just be showing y'all how to clean up a match where you're already winning. Main thing is just being as efficient as possible and not getting kind of complacent with the survivors. Go for as many downs. This is kind of the #1 rule of Dream Witch. Go for as many downs as you can get. So the more damage you can get on the table, the more you're able to snowball. And even if you only get like 1 hit and it doesn't necessarily equate to a down, I mean, someone's got to heal that person. And from here, I pretty much don't get punished for slugging. So I am free to... I was actually a decent flywheel there, but again, everything is way too late to matter. And from here, it's, once again, as I said before, all about cleanup. Postman only has so much to work with here, and there's like not enough decoding to really stress me out. I believe I end up just taking to a chair, or they just surrender. Okay, I misremembered that, but cool. So that was a really fast match when the early game goes really nice. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next match. Alright, so the next match that I have is on Leo's Memory, and once again I'm using this Blink Insolence build. It's been the one that I've been really preferring lately because I just enjoy how fast the early game can be in a lot of these matches. So, and I'm kind of doing this as kind of a showcase on how to do really well against kind of mid-tier gameplay. I believe I was like, at the time of this recording, I believe I was Manti 5, so kind of in that tier 5 area, which is where a lot of my viewers I know will kind of be roughly at, kind of that tier 3 to tier 5 area. If I remember from like all the customs that I do with my viewers, that seems to be just about an average. Now, Enchantress did get a little bit more annoying after her buff, but I was able to get this down really quick. Dream Witch is very strong against Enchantress because her stuns charge up differently for each of the leeches. So even though there's like a certain number of leeches on screen, doesn't necessarily reflect the stuns that she usually has, because the stuns actually charge up separately for each of the Dream Witch leeches. So she needs to make sure that she actually has enough stun for each leech before trying to go for it. But anyways, Fire Investigator is going to be on chair, and the big thing was I want to get this rescue rush as quickly as I can. If I can get a leech on the rescuer, I'll be pretty happy too. I believe here I just go for a, I go for a double hit here. Getting a double hit is very important for Dream Witch, especially when you're not necessarily super ahead when it comes to the timing of things. Now, I'm lucky that the timing is ahead, but Dream Witch wins if she's able to multitask off of a double hit down, or if she has like a really absurd early game. She also wins off of late game pressure, so there are like a lot of win conditions, but you can see goes for that stun. It only affects one of the leeches, and now I am able to take the Enchantress back to the rocket chair. And I believe here I start multitasking, trying to get this to auto march here, and from here I'm trying to get, once again, as Dream Witch, whenever possible, you pretty much want to get a leech as soon as your cooldown is up. That usually gives you really good timing to be really ahead for the late game, but I was able to cut off. You want to have, when you're camping, you want to have one leech at the chair, and then you want to have one leech going aggressively towards the other survivor. So I was able to get a hit nice out in the open from on the Fire Investigator, and then there was a leech at chair, which is why you saw that survivor kind of double back there. And from here, same as the last match, it's just all about cleanup. And from here, getting single hits off of rescues is perfectly fine. Trying to go for support didn't necessarily work there, but that is okay. And even though Acro got a stun on one leech, the other leech was waiting behind, ready to go there. So if you can get really efficient at switching between the leeches, you can end up in putting the survivors in some nasty sandwich situations, which is what you saw the Acro unknowingly go into there. Because I believe I used the Fire Investigator's leech. Now, one thing that's important to note is that from the survivor perspective, certain leeches will get highlighted red, but the ones that turn red are only the ones that are their own. So their teammates' leeches won't get highlighted for them either. And Acrobat prematurely wasted a ball when I was just going to go ahead and share the mercenary anyways. When you're ahead on decoding, you want to prioritize camping and cipher pressure. You don't necessarily tunnel a whole lot here. I could have justified getting rid of that ball. I don't know why I didn't. I just figured I was like ahead enough to the point where going for this chase was just more valuable. And from there, I was thinking about trying to get a re-leech on that survivor, but the rescue's happening and the survivors surrender. So I hope you learned something. If you did, consider leaving a like and subscribing. Let me know in the comments what hunter you want me to do this kind of gameplay style with next. And I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.